Here we go. Thanks for being with us. This is Sports by the Book on a Saturday. I'm Alex White and filling in for Jeff Parles today. You see him Monday through Friday on Punchlines Behind the Glass, but he is at the desk here today. Ryan McCormick. Ryan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. We've got football on the board today, a full slate of baseball. Good to be here, Alex.
A lot of football games on the board today on a Saturday, so not what we're really used to, but we're going to get started. We're going to go ahead and swoosh that across the board and tell you what is on deck here for our Sports by the Book. Number one, USA goes for gold today, 3:30 Eastern Time, 12:30 Pacific Time. France versus USA. France has 4 current NBA players as well as 4 former. Still, if you like USA today, minus 16 total in this one, 175.5.
All right, well, now going to number 2. We have, I mentioned it before, 9 NFL preseason games on the slate today. The first is the Washington Commanders and the New York Jets starting in a couple minutes. And then we've got my Chicago Bears in Buffalo taking on the Bills. So you're going to see the top 2 picks in the draft go at it a little bit today. The Bills will have some of their starters playing the first drive. So we'll get to see a good amount of football.
We've had a lot of unders lately. We'll give our thoughts on these games. Not a whole lot to bet, though. It is really tough. So you got to pick your spots here in preseason football.
Especially in the preseason, yep.
Number 3, doubleheader in New York. Great pitching matchup in Game 1. Nathan Eovaldi for the Rangers versus Carlos Rodon and the Bronx Bombers. Yankees, I better double check that, make sure that line didn't move. Minus 151. Total in that one, staying strong here at 9.
And then that later game, Bradford versus Garrett Cole. So we'll get to doubleheader in the Bronx. So, but now going to number 4, we are looking at the Phillies and D-backs series. The D-backs had a walk-off win last night from rookie Adrian Del Castillo, his first big league home run. But this series is now tied at 1 with 2 more games to go in this one. The Phillies have kind of been struggling, and the D-backs have been one of the hottest teams in this second half. So Aaron Nola on the bump for the Phillies and Zach Gallen on the bump for the D-backs.
Really impressive second half from Arizona here. 13-3 in their last 16 games. That's a really good pitching matchup as well.
Yes.
We'll give all our thoughts here in a minute. And number 5 in Minnesota after the Twins take game 1 and 2. Doubleheader yesterday. We've got a decent matchup here. Andre Palante and the Cardinals, Michael Wacha, and the Royals. Royals minus 135 total is 9 in that one. Royals still making a little bit of a push here in the second half.
Yeah.
But that'll do it for our starting 5 here with myself and Ryan McCormick. Thanks to Drew Dog and Sean in the back, getting us going here on a Saturday.
Yeah, big shout out to the guys.
Yes, because you know how hard that everybody works back there.
Yep. Yeah, just a little bit.
But before we get into this full slate of baseball, I do want to just touch on basketball.
Yes.
And U.S.
Yeah.
We were talking about it before we were on air. Pretty wild. We have USA versus France in both the men's and the women's. Women's game will be tomorrow, of course.
Yep. Really cool, actually, to get the same kind of matchup in the gold medal matches in the Olympics.
And it's the host.
Yeah, playing against France. The first time that the U.S. will have to face the host country in the gold medal match. These two faced off in the gold medal match in 2021 in Tokyo. And if you kind of set it to what the spread is today and what the total is today and go back to Tokyo, the game would have gone under and France would have covered. And we've kind of seen that the U.S. hasn't really been able to blow out these teams in these Olympics. They, in fact, their last game was their last game versus Serbia in the kind of placement to get into this gold medal match was the only time this summer that the U.S. hadn't scored 100 points by themselves. And so with the total at around 175.5, here at the South Point, it's kind of good to see that the team has been able to get at least halfway there by themselves. It'll
be interesting. I'm curious if we see some adjustments because of that close game. I mean, they really almost lost to Serbia.
Yep.
It was a fantastic fourth quarter. We really saw Steph Curry, LeBron James, and of course Kevin Durant turn it on. Those three really responsible. KD had a great game Embiid had a great game overall as well. KD too. So I mean, we'll see what we get here because it could go either way, right? I think France could hang in there. Of course, they do have Wemby. They have the Defensive Player of the Year. I
And
know
Rudy
you'll love
Gobert,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited just to watch this one. At least I would lean to taking the points and France keeping it at least close.
Yeah, so the last time that the U.S. didn't play in the gold medal match was in 2004 when Argentina won the gold medal. But since then, the U.S. has played in every single gold medal match. They are 1-3 against the spread in those games. So I have already taken France plus the 16. So
first bet of our day, France plus 16. And should mention Serbia did win.
Yeah, they covered. 93-83 was the final at 2:00 this morning. So that was I definitely wasn't up watching that one.
I was not either. But so they did win the bronze medal there.
Yes.
Well deserved for them. All right, let's move on. Let's hit some baseball games here. I know you have a lot of notes for us. I've got a couple leans, but I haven't made any bets yet for this Saturday. So we'll start off with the first game, as mentioned in the starting five. Game 1, Texas Rangers, New York Yankees. Because of the weather on the East Coast, we got to keep an eye out for that as well. But Nathan Eovaldi, Carlos Rodon, right now here at the South Point, Yankees minus 151, total 9. Anything jump out to you in this first game?
So kind of when I was going and looking at the recent history, not between these two teams, but just since the All-Star break, the Rangers have lost 5 of their 6 series in this second half, with their only series win being against the Chicago White Sox, who lost 21 straight games. So I wouldn't really say that that's impressive. They also went 1-3 in that series against the spread against the Sox. So they really have kind of been struggling. Nate Eovaldi has a 6.26 ERA since coming back from the All-Star break and has given up at least 1 homer in each of his starts. So having to go against the Bronx Bombers with Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Jazz Chisholm, it's definitely a lineup that can mash. But on the flip side, so looking at Carlos Rodon, he's also given up 1 homer in each of his starts since the break, but he does have a 2.89 ERA and gotten a win in each of the 3 starts since coming back. So the decision. So I am on the Yankees in the early one this morning.
It's tough. I lean to the Rangers here with that plus money. I just think that minus 155 is a little steep on Rodon. But you just brought it up. I mean, the Rangers have been one of the biggest disappointments this entire season, and now they are really struggling when it matters the most. But batting average in their last 3, 161, slugging 306, even weighted runs carried plus 57. So we know that lineup is good. They have it in them, but it's just a matter if they can get it going today. But because it is a doubleheader, this is the one I would rather have the plus money with the Rangers if I were to. So, but no bet for me yet. Ryan does like the Yankees here, minus 155. We'll see if he thinks they can get both, but we'll get to that second game a little bit later. We're going to move to the Padres and the Marlins. We got to talk about the Padres. They saved me yesterday. I was kind of doing a run line rollover here, and I took the Padres minus 1.5 yesterday. Came back and won.
Yeah, got a big 10th inning. Scored 4 runs in the 10th to win 6-2. That was a good one for you.
Yeah, and that particular player who was
Jackson Merrill.
Thank you.
Yeah,
has done that in the 9th or later innings.
Yeah, so we kind of talked about it on Punchlines this week. So Jackson Merrill is the first player in Major League Baseball history to have a game-tying or game-leading home run in the 9th inning or later. And he has 3 in the last 11 days.
Oh, my gosh.
So, yeah, that's what he's the first to do. 3 game-tying home runs in the 9th inning or later in such a short span. So he's trying to get his name out there for the Rookie of the Year going against the starter for the Pirates today, Paul Skenes.
Oh, that's a tough one. But so Padres today, you do have to lay a pretty big number here. They are minus 180, but they have just been playing so good. They're making a push right now. They're pretty close to catching the Dodgers. So I would definitely lean to the Padres against this Miami Marlins team that has continued to struggle.
Yeah. I mean, the Marlins have been one of the worst teams all year. But again, in this second half, the Padres have been the best team in baseball. They are a win today from their second 7-game win streak of this second half. They are 15-3 since the break, 12-6 against the spread. The Padres are the second best team on the road this season.
Yep.
So if you'd place a $100 money line bet on the Padres on the road, you would be 34-23, up almost $1,400. The only team that's better is those New York Yankees, but they are, of course, at home today. And then if you look at the fish, the Marlins are the second worst team at home in baseball this year. They are 23-38. And if you'd placed a $100 money line bet, which I don't advise, you'd be down over $1,050. So with that being said, the Marlins have yet to lose 3 straight games in this second half. And today they are facing a possible 3-game losing streak. But with that being said, the Padres money line is the play for me. So
I'm with you. I might even do a little bit of that run line, -1.5, -115 here. Those are great trends. That's pretty crazy that they haven't lost that third game. But if it were to happen, it would be today. Let's go ahead and move to the Cincinnati Reds and Milwaukee Brewers. Again, 2 teams that have been very good offensively, especially the Brewers here in the second half. Nick Martinez goes for the Reds and Tobias Myers for the Brewers. 8 is the total. If you like the Brew Crew, -141.
So the kind of notes that I have on this game, Milwaukee, of course, swept the Braves. And if you kind of look at their last 4 games, they've scored 42 runs.
Yes.
There's a team in baseball that has 40 hits in their last 3 games. The Brewers have scored 42 runs in their last 4 games. And they're facing Nick Martinez on the bump for the Reds, who's 6-5, has a 3.43 ERA this season. But he's typically coming out of the bullpen. So I don't expect a full bullpen game for the Reds today because Martinez pitched, I believe, on last Sunday. So he's gotten a good amount of rest, but I would be really surprised if he gets into the 6th inning. So I do expect to see the Reds go into that bullpen and the Brewers to see a couple different pitchers in this one.
My number is 8 here, but I'm still going to bet this over because of what you just said about how the Brewers have been playing. And then Cincinnati, too. They're 7-0 to the over in their last 7 games. So I think we can get some runs here, especially
seems good.
Against Martinez. And it's a pretty even pitching matchup, too, between these two. Myers and Martinez, about the same rating for those two.
Yeah, and then another note. So Cincinnati relievers are in the bottom third of the league in wins and losses. So they have 16 wins as a relief group and have 23 losses as a relief group. So bottom third in wins and kind of the worst third in losses. So if it is going to be an extended bullpen game, Brewers is my lean here.
Brewers is your lean. And I'm going over that 8 runs here. We mentioned it in the starting 5. Really good pitching matchup here. Phillies have Aaron Nola, Zach Gallen for the Diamondbacks. 1-1 so far in this series. Frank took the Phillies in game 1 against the trends that you had given him on punchlines, but they did come through in that one. So they're starting to figure some things out. They're looking better. Again, we saw them go through that little bit of a slump there, but Diamondbacks -114 in this one at home. I think they've been favored in all 3 games, if I'm not mistaken, which is a little surprising against this Phillies team, but total 8.5. Anything you like betting wise, or any good trends and numbers for us for this matchup?
I don't think we can hammer it home enough, but Aaron Nola and Zach Gallen have been 2 of the best pitchers in baseball for a very extended period of time. And so this matchup has me wanting to take the under. But you can never really tell because the Diamondbacks are one of the second hottest team in baseball since the break. But I know that you and Jeff had mentioned earlier this week that the Phillies had lost every series since the All-Star break, except for, of course, at the beginning of this week when they beat the Dodgers in that series in LA. But the Diamondbacks have won every single series since the All-Star break. So with a 4-game series and this one tied at 1, I think it either they split these last 2 or the D-backs take this one and probably win tomorrow.
Yeah, I would lean towards the Diamondbacks. Well, how about you said you were kind of interested in the under 4.5. First 5 sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, that is pretty tempting.
That first game, not their best pitchers by any means between these two. I thought that was an easy over. We didn't get there until about the 6th through 9th inning.
Yep.
No runs scored in the first 5, so I could see that happening again here with these two.
Yeah, I mean, just the way that the Phillies bats have kind of been slumping in the second half, I'd be good with that one.
Yeah, there were so many base runners left, so they really aren't stringing things together. So yeah, I like that as well, and I'm definitely leaning to the home team there to keep it going. This one I don't really have much. We'll see if you do. Atlanta Braves, Colorado Rockies. Jeff and I kind of skipped over it yesterday. I don't know what's going on with Atlanta. How many have they lost in a row now? 6-game losing streak. The Braves have got to get it figured out, or they're going to be on the outside looking in for the playoffs. Anything for you in this one, Ryan? Right now, Braves, you got to lay minus 185 total, 10.5. It is in Colorado.
Yeah.
But they have struggled offensively.
Yeah, the Braves have struggled offensively, and like you said, they are losers of 6 straight, but they have another 8 straight road games ahead of them, so they are at the start of a very long road trip. Max Fried on the mound for the Braves. He is 7-6 this year with a 3.4 ERA. He's facing Dakota Hudson, who has been one of the worst pitchers in baseball this year. He is 2-12 with a 5.84 ERA. In Hudson starts for the Rockies this year, the team is 3-14. So if anything, it's just taking a chance on the Braves to get back on that, and the losing streak, and get back on track at least a little bit.
Yeah, it would definitely be as well, especially like you said, Max Fried. We do have the pitching advantage here, so you just gotta get a few runs in there. Maybe a Braves under here, kind of correlated with those two, but it is at Coors Field, so you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Paul Skenes Day.
That it is.
Starting for the Pirates here against the Dodgers. I'm interested to get your thoughts because we kind of brought it up off air, but we did see him for the All-Star game.
Yep.
Who might have seen a few of these guys in the lineup. Right now, the Dodgers minus 108 total in this one is 8.
Well, so Sean clearly excited for Skenes Day. He's got his Paul Skenes jersey on. I'm sure our guy Frank would be jealous of that one. So matchup of 2 rookie pitchers, Paul Skenes versus River Ryan, which might be one of the coolest names in baseball.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Both sub-2 ERA pitchers. And obviously Skenes kind of running away with the Rookie of the Year candidacy, even though Jackson Merrill is doing his best to keep up. And Skenes may get limited here at the end of the year. But it's just hard to... When you get the Dodgers an underdog at home, when they were supposed to win over 100 games this year and be the best team in baseball, I think it's worth it to take the shot on them because the Pirates haven't been able to give Skenes the run support to get him those wins that he's been in place to get as long as he gets runs. So having to go through the gauntlet of the Dodgers lineup, Shohei Ohtani, no Mookie Betts yet, but Freddie Freeman back, Teoscar Hernandez, I tempted and lean to the Dodgers at home.
Well, especially we just saw the Pirates-Padres series. They had plenty of opportunity to win those games, and their bullpen just kind of gave those games away. So I don't trust Pittsburgh's bullpen at all. Full game, yes, I would look to the Dodgers here. Maybe if you're going to play the Pirates, I would probably stick with the first 5. Just banking on Skenes having another good showing.
Both of the starters being sub-2, I would be okay with that.
Looking at the under as well. We hit game 1 of the Rangers and the Yankees, kind of on different sides in that one, but no, you did bet that one already, right?
Yes.
Ryan bet. Mine was just a lean. All right, let's look at the Oakland Athletics and Toronto Blue Jays here. 963, 964 on the rotation. A's were really hot for a while. They've kind of cooled down. We've got Toronto minus 132 in this one. Total is 9.
Yeah, so Osvaldo Bido on the mound for the A's and Yariel Rodriguez on the bump for the Blue Jays. Bido, this is going to be kind of a funky stat. It is a small sample size, but Saturday road starts in his career. He has a 2.7 ERA, a 1.4 WHIP, which is slightly below league average. But I tried to do a lot of research for this one to try and convince myself of a side. We've seen Osvaldo Bido at the ballpark. Being the AAA affiliate of the A's. He does have some talent, but I just couldn't convince myself of either side in this one.
I'm with you. I think that number is right, minus 132 here for the home team, and total is kind of bop down a little bit. I mean, it's really because of how Oakland has been playing offensively. So, I mean, they could turn it on. Their expected do factor, weighted runs carried plus, is pretty high, 142, because they do have the talent there at the plate, but I'm not going to bank on that.
Yeah, I mean, we'd kind of seen Lawrence Butler when he went on his tear. He had said that the A's are the best team in baseball when their lineup can put it together, which I think it was Jeff that said it's pretty apparent for every team in Major League Baseball that they got the best lineup in baseball when they can all put it together. But yeah, the A's for a good week and a half were really raking as a team and have kind of festered down. And then Vlad Jr., since getting his haircut, I think is batting over 400 and has I think he has double-digit home runs. So again, trying to convince myself of a side in this one, but no real confident play for me here.
Yeah, I mean, 132 seems like a pretty good price here for the home team, but no real edge. I mean, if it was like minus 112, I would probably jump in there. But let's look at this next one. Houston Astros. The Astros take game one. They win 8-4 over the Boston Red Sox, who have been very good as well. Spencer Arrighetti gets the start for Houston. I'm going to mess up his name, so I'm going to let you...
Josh Winkowski.
Winkowski, not bad at all. Okay. Let's look at the line here. Minus 115 for the home team. Some support on the Astros to win another one. Total 10.5. Like anything in this one?
So I'd mentioned it when we talked about the Brewers. The Astros have the hottest bats in baseball. They have 40 hits as a team in their last 3 games. So they've really been able to hit. They had 16 hits last night against these Red Sox. With that being said, the Astros have not won a game that Arrighetti has started in since June 26th, so a little over a month. They have been outscored 23-11 in those games. But with it being a bullpen day for the Red Sox, at least that's what I expect because Winkowski pitched on Wednesday. He went 2 2/3. So I would imagine that he doesn't go very long. He does have 14 appearances against Astros hitters, giving up 6 hits, allowing only 1 run, but has 3 strikeouts. So I do anticipate the Astros bats staying hot, getting Winkowski out there probably a little earlier than the Red Sox want, and getting to that rest of the bullpen. So the Astros are my play in this one.
I'm with you. I like it too. I have the Astros, should be the favorite, a $1.30 favorite on the road here against the Red Sox. So getting plus money with this team, as you mentioned, are playing very well. So we'll have to break that trend of them not getting a win with Spencer Arrighetti starting. Astros for both of us in that one. Moving to rotation number 967, 968. Cleveland Guardians, Minnesota Twins. As mentioned yesterday, Twins take both in that doubleheader. Before going into this series, Cleveland had won 5 against them on the season.
Yep.
You like the Twins, minus 115. Seems like a pretty cheap price for them at home with Simeon Woods Richardson, who I've been backing all year long. Total in this one is 8.5. Gavin Williams on the bump for Cleveland.
Yeah. So the Guardians have lost 7 straight games.
I know.
They were one of the best teams in baseball in the first half. That had the best record for a couple of days.
Yep, they did.
Sparingly there. So I do think I'm on the opposite side of you today.
Okay.
I think if you're a team that's going to compete into October and deep into October, you can't have these extended losing streaks. And you're eventually going to right the ship. Obviously, it's baseball, long season, so you're going to lose games you should win. You're going to win games that you should have lost. But the Guardians need to at least get one. They can't be swept by a division rival. They're now only 1.5 up in the AL Central. So I'm going with the Guards. If not today, I'm doubling down tomorrow. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I always have that added in price to try and avoid that sweep. So it is a good angle there. I've been a fan of the Guardians, really rooting for them this year. But I mean, I've heard it from Jeff and even my dad. They all kind of thought it was a lot of smoke and mirrors with this team having the best record for that short period of time, but staying at top all year long. So we'll see how they finish the rest of the season. It's getting really interesting. And I know lot of people have been on the Twins to kind of make this push.
Yeah, the on punchlines, a lot of the guys in the comments, the punchies really think the Twins are going to be the second half team to kind of take over the Central and maybe make a deep run. But they did lose Joe Ryan for an extended couple of weeks. He got injured in the start versus the Cubs. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that hurts them for sure. So a little bit of difference of opinions in this one. I'm looking at the Twins at home to keep it going. And Ryan is looking at that plus money with the Guardians to steal one back from Minnesota. Going to Tampa Bay, we've got the Rays hosting the Orioles. Who won that first one? We got the Orioles take game 1, 4-1. Pretty big price here on the road team. Minus 148 for Baltimore. 7.5 total. Looks like we're moving up to 8. So better's like the over in this one.
Yeah, so I think I lean to taking the 148 price because I have it a little heavier with Corbin Burnes on the mound for the O's. They've won each of the last 5 starts for Corbin Burnes, are a combined 16-7 in his starts this season. It was exactly 1 month ago that Burnes went 7 innings against these Rays in Tampa, so kind of the same setting. He allowed 5 hits, no earned runs, and struck out 6 batters. The O's are 7-1 straight up and against the spread against these Rays this season. And then Rasmussen on the mound for the Rays was brought back from injury on Wednesday. He pitched in the 7th and 8th innings against the Cardinals. Did not allow a base runner, did not allow a run, obviously, and struck out 3 batters. So I'm looking at the under first 5, the O's money line, and getting that plus 110 price on the run line. So I'm kind of big on the O's today.
I like it. I can't fault you there with Corbin Burnes on the mound. And we don't really know what we're going to get from Drew.
It's either Rasmussen or Rasmussen. It might be Musin. Yeah.
Yes, Rasmussen. Like you said, just getting back from injury. Didn't get to pitch much. Did great in those 2 innings, but I like it. Under and lean to the Orioles. Logan Webb on the mound for the Giants. We know that one for sure. Yep. I still no pitcher for Detroit here in this one, but it's you got to lay a big price. 230 San Francisco, total 7.5. Logan Webb's been really good. Really good. I mean, I would only look to the Giants here even without knowing our pitcher for the Tigers.
Yeah, that is kind of the big question and why the price is kind of so heavy. But when you look at Logan Webb for the Giants, he's been the definition of durable and consistent for them. He leads the National League in innings pitched since the start of this season, since the start of last season, and since the start of the season before that. So Logan Webb is the Giants' ace. I know that they brought in Blake Snell, who just threw a no-hitter, but Logan Webb has been the guy for them for a very long time. But looking at this season specifically, the Giants are 34-23 at home this season, and the Tigers, not on the road or at home, but they are 8-12 since the All-Star break and losers of 8 of their last 11. So it is a pretty hefty price with that 230. Possibly tempted with the -1 or the run line minus the 115. So I do heavy lean to the Giants in this one.
I'm with you. And even would look at that run line, trying to figure out which team I am taking today. Might be Logan Webb. I mean, we're assuming Tigers are probably having a bullpen day, right? And
that's why with no starter named, getting kind of a couple hours before game time, you would kind of figure that it's going to be a bullpen game.
Unless we're looking at this team, the LA Angels, do you think that they can get it done against Patrick Corbin on the mound and the Washington Nationals? I mean, a pretty cheap price here for the Angels, -107 total, and this one is 9.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of the worst pitchers in baseball. Griffin Canning on the bump for the Angels, 4-10 this season with an over 5 ERA, and Patrick Corbin, 2-12 with a 5.88 ERA. I mean, could this be one of the grossest matchups of the year with starters?
Yeah, because typically we like to fade Patrick Corbin, but really you can't trust Canning on the other side, especially when we've seen Corbin have a couple decent starts sprinkled in there.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting paid all this money for the Nationals and just hasn't been able to actually produce for them. But the Angels are 10-13 in Canning starts this season. The Nats are 4-17 in Corbin starts this season. So if you combine those two, they are 14-30 in their starts. So it's just not a good one, and I have no idea what to do here.
All right, it's a stay away. Stay away from both of us. I mean, the total's 9. I wish it was a little bit lower so we could just go over in this, but I mean, I think 9 is the correct number as well. How about the St. Louis Cardinals and the Kansas City Royals? Kind of touched on this one. Palante starting for the Cards, Michael Wacha for Kansas City. Royals are the favorite, -130, total 9. I think the wrong team is favored in this one. I think should be more like a pick 'em at least, or lean towards the Cardinals. Anything that jumps out to you?
So these teams played exactly 1 month ago in a doubleheader. And the first game was started by Andre Palante, and the second game was started by Michael Wacha, both of which were won by the Royals. I believe, So Palante in the first one allowed 4 runs on 6 hits through 6 1/3 innings pitched. The Royals would go on to win that game 6-4. And Michael Wacha went 5 innings pitched, allowing 7 hits and 3 earned runs in an 8-5 Royals win exactly a month ago. Michael Wacha, since leaving the Cardinals, in appearances versus the Cardinals, so kind of 5 years. He didn't face them the first 2 years. He wasn't a Cardinal, but in the last 3 years, he's 3-0 with a 3.12 ERA and a 1.27 WHIP. So lean to the Royals and lean to the over in this one.
Those are good. Good
also
news.
Because every game, so they've played 3 games. This matchup has gone 3 games this season. Every single one of them has gone over. So that's another reason I go to the over on this one.
Let's see what I made this game. Oh, right there at 9. But I mean, the Royals are 6-1 to the over in their last 7. They've lost 3 of their last 4 of their last 6. So they're a little bit inconsistent as well. I mean, they're young, right? So we see them go through these streaks because they had a nice win streak going before they lost those. So we'll see if they can get it back today. Not a heavy play for me, just a lean on the other side with the Cardinals here. All right, Ryan, you want to talk about this one? Chicago Cubs and Chicago White Sox. Cubs.
Yeah.
I said yesterday I thought it was going to be a pretty close game. Take the +1.5, and
it got there.
It did. I didn't bet it though. Cubs win 7-6. Do you think the White Sox can steal this one with Chris Flexen on the mound against Justin Steele?
Chris Flexen is 2-11 this season. I mean, obviously the Sox are not very good. So Chris Flexen 2-11 with a 5.53 ERA, and Justin Steele on the bump for the Cubbies. Pitched his first career complete game a little over a month ago. So he will go the distance in order to get the Cubbies a win. So I have nothing really more to say than go Cubs go. And
my only problem in this is that -230. I just think is a little bit steep.
Yeah.
With Chicago, but I mean, I also talked about it yesterday too. That this team has been finding ways to win. What 7? They must be 7-2.
I think they've won 7 of their last 9.
Yep.
So yeah, again, finding ways to win. Yesterday they did almost blow it. Bases loaded scenario in the bottom of the 9th that Hector Neris ends up closing and getting out of it. But crosstown series. Every game this season has ended 7-6. So if you want to stick with that one, it's up to you.
Maybe an exacta 13 runs between these two. This is a really good pitching matchup as well because Sean Manaea has been really good for the Mets this year, and Logan Gilbert goes for the Mariners. The Mariners did shut out the Mets in Game 1, 6-0 yesterday. Looking at this line, Mariners -128 and 7.5 for the over/under.
So you had mentioned that the Mariners won 6-0 last night, shutting out the Mets the Mariners not shutting out the Mets for the 9th time, but the Mets being shut out for the 9th time this season. In the previous 8 In the following game, the Mets are 1-7 straight up and 1-7 against the spread. So Logan Gilbert on the mound for the Mariners.
Wait, so following a shutout?
Following getting shut out, yeah, the Mets are 1-7 straight up and against the spread.
I would have just assumed it was like 7-1 that they.
Yeah, that they would rebound.
Win.
Yeah,
right.
No, they have kind of struggled after getting shut out. So, but if there's anything to make anyone that wants to feel better about the Mets, the Mariners are 0-4, also straight up and against the spread. In Logan Gilbert's last 4 starts, as well as the Mariners are one of, if not the worst hitting teams in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
They still have the league's lowest batting average at 217, have the most strikeouts by over 50, with over almost 1,200 strikeouts this season, and have the second lowest total bases this season. I guess only behind those White Sox that are the worst team in baseball. So if there is anything to kind of make you feel better about Sean Manaea, is that the Mariners can't hit. So maybe an underplay in this one.
Yeah, I know it is. It's been really frustrating if you're backing the Mariners because they do have such a good rotation.
Yeah, they've got a great rotation, good potential with their bats, just haven't been able to put wood on the ball.
Nothing for me in this, and I think that's the correct number with Gilbert getting the start here, -128, and lean to the under if anything, just with those numbers. Let's look at the second game of our doubleheader today, Texas Rangers and Yankees. We've got Cody Bradford and Garrett Cole. We did see these pitchers kind of, because what was expected yesterday, we aren't getting that expected one. So game 2, Cody Bradford and Garrett Cole on the other side. Pretty big price here for the Yankees, -175. Total sitting at 9. You like the Yankees in game 1? Do you like them to win both games here today?
Well, so the thing about this one for me, Cody Bradford hasn't reached the 5th inning in either start since the All-Star break. He is 3-0, but those were from before the break. So since the All-Star break, he has effectively doubled his ERA. He was at a 1.8, I believe, and now it's a 3.96, like you see on your screen. So shout out to our guys back there for getting that one up. With that being said, he does have the same birthday as my Nana, so in good conscience, I can't go against him. So I'm just staying away from this one.
Okay. Well, sometimes you gotta just pull out all the tricks that go into the handicapping.
Just take what the universe gives you. I don't.
That's right.
Fully know.
That's right. Nothing for me in that one. I do think that price is a little big on the Yankees as well, but I'll wait and see what happens in game 1 before jumping in. Like I mentioned earlier, I do think they split today, so that might factor into my handicap for later. That's all our baseball today. Any strong plays that you want to recap that you had already bet, or as we were going through that you had added to your list?
Well, so we had kind of mentioned it just now. So the Yankees play in this first game is what I'm on early this morning. France to cover in that gold medal match, cover the 16. And I also do like the over in that game, being that it is the first time that the U.S. is facing the host country in the gold medal match. So it should be one of the best, if not or better, if not the best crowd that the games have kind of seen. So I'm anticipating a good amount of energy in that one. Heavy lean on the Giants, the Astros money line against the Red Sox, the Padres against the Marlins. So those are the ones I think I'm most confident in.
Good. I also like the Padres today, like the Astros as well. Leaning towards the Twins here. I like the over in the Reds and the Brewers, and then the under first 5 in that fantastic pitching matchup we have with the Phillies and the Diamondbacks. You want to talk some preseason football? I know you're very excited about today because you are a big Chicago Bears fan and a lot of expectations. You will get to see Caleb Williams at least for a little bit in this one today.
At least for one series. Didn't get to see him in the Hall of Fame game, which the Bears were given the win because they didn't have to play in the fourth quarter against the Texans. But so you were on the show with us on Punchlines when we brought in Brooks Gate, one of our favorite Twitter accounts. So Jordan put together a stat of preseason records since 2010. Obviously, the Ravens went on that kind of streak and did end up losing last night. So this was before yesterday. So the Ravens are now 39-12, and their win percentage is a little different. The Falcons have been the worst team in the National Football League in the preseason, now losing last night, blowing their lead last night and losing to the Finns. So they're 14-36, which is not good at all. But when you look at these preseason games, for me, it's more about the coaching and the depth of the roster. Because we obviously don't know how long starters are going to play, how long guys are going to go for. So I kind of went and looked at coaching current head coaches' records in the preseason. So obviously the Raiders with Antonio Pierce haven't played a preseason game under him. And then the Titans get a new head coach, brand new head coach, and so are the Seahawks. So they don't have any wins. But the Vikings are 0-6 in the preseason under Kevin O'Connell. So with their kind of quarterback room, I'm not sure if we're getting to see much of Sam Darnold today. But with them and JJ McCarthy, we're definitely going to get to see the entire quarterback competition for the Raiders. So I do kind of expect to get a little more effort. And another thing, just the coaches having something to prove in their games. Kevin O'Connell, I think, is pretty comfortable in Minnesota. But Pierce is obviously promoted from the interim head coach last year. So I know the Raiders are favored in Minnesota, but I do kind of go there.
Yeah.
And then if we go to the Packers and Browns game.
And the 3 doesn't mean as much. We know that in the preseason.
Yeah.
So it was 2.5. Bettors are with you. Bet the Raiders. Now it is 3. So I like that. That was a great breakdown for those two teams. And I like the Raiders do have depth, especially on their defense. And that's what they're really preaching this year.
Yep.
So I don't think that they are going to take that lightly in Minnesota either. But sorry. Okay. You're going to another one?
Yeah. So just kind of the next game of the day, Green Bay sucks, but the Packers are in Cleveland taking on the Browns. Matt LaFleur is 5-8 in the preseason. And the Browns are 5-4-1 under Stefanski. So no real telltale there. Stefanski didn't win. Did he win coach? No, he didn't win coach of the year last year. And LaFleur, obviously, I don't think we're going to get to see much of Jordan Love, but the Browns have a pretty crowded quarterback room. Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, former Gorman Gale kid I played with in middle school. So
remember how good he did? Fantastic in the preseason.
Yeah, last year he did. Yeah, he did get them to 2 wins. They had a couple hundred yards in each, whether it be on the ground or passing. But I do think the favorite is the right side in this one. 5.5 for Cleveland.
Jordan Love is way too expensive to put him out there.
That is a great point. Yeah.
So I don't think we will be seeing him. We are going to see Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I believe that game is already kicked off. Do they have it on behind us?
You're right, 9 a.m. So they have already started.
You said what, Sean? 7-0 Commanders, yeah. So yeah, getting to see the number 2 pick in the draft in Jaden Daniels going against the Jets, the Aaron Rodgers-less Jets, but
yes,
still we still got football today, so great day. Great
day. Ryan, fantastic job. Great breakdowns for all the baseball and the preseason games. Good luck with all your bets. Do we have any live comments today? Because we were kind of running through. We forgot to check. We're trying to get a little bit better at that.
Yeah, so we've got Keith Lyle, JR in the chat. We've got Dean Hilt. Dean says, Alex is so much more knowledgeable and professional than those gals that are on the Fox and MLB network. She could easily work for a network TV. And then JR said, look at those desserts in the background at the Del Mar Deli. So they were enjoying you today.
Very nice. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for chiming in. We'll try and get better about reading those and keeping up. Ryan's fantastic. I mean, Punchlines is a very interactive show. You can find them Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. But you have to go to a different YouTube channel. It's not hard to find.
Yes. So we've kind of branched off from this South Point Studio channel. So it's at Punchlines FN. You can also get us on social medias at that same at. But this coming week, we've got Matt and Neverett producing the show. So the Pittsburghers will get to go with Frank and Matt this week on the show. So tune into Punchlines. It's always a great show. We always have fun. So
I'm glad
Monday
you warned
through
me.
Friday at noon.
Should I wear my new TJ Watt jersey on Wednesday
Yes.
then? Okay, it'll be
Yes.
fitting. Have a good vacation wherever you
Thank
are
you.
going. Drew Dog with 5Gs, thank you. As always, Sean, good luck to your Commanders. The rest of the Sean just thinks the Commanders will be pretty
He's
good this year. So
very high on Washington.
not really
this year.
his team, but that is his bold prediction, which is it's a good one. New head coach, looking good so far. But thank you, Sean, as always. I'm Alex White, Ryan McCormick. This is Sports by the Book. Make sure you tune in. We'll be back on Tuesday, 9 a.m., Tuesday through Saturday. Stay right here at the South Point Studio YouTube channel. We've got a lot of great shows for you. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again on Tuesday.
Bear down.